Hey guys, it's Amanda, and before we get into today's episode, I wanted to tell you what Sarah and I are going to talk about. So, today we're going to break down neural pathways, basically, why you keep doing the same things, having the same reactions, and ending up in the same patterns, even when you know that you know better. We're going to dive into it so that you can understand it and then figure out if you need to make some changes. We're here to help. If you don't want to make any changes, keep your neural pathways the way that they are, baby, okay? Quick favor before we start, go follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find I'm Your Mother Now podcast. I literally have us everywhere. We're trying to hit 1,000 followers at least on Instagram so that we can go live on our own account and not have to piggyback on our big sis Sarah and her impressive Instagram following. All right, let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Sarah,
And I'm Amanda.
and this is I'm Your Mother Now podcast.
Season 2, episode 10.
Wow, that just flew by, huh?
That's the best you got, Sarah. You really are tapping into your neural pathways.
Shut up. Good morning. It's been
Good
so long since we
morning.
last chatted.
No, it really hasn't. We haven't really had much of a preamble today.
No, no.
Um, hey, before we
Hey.
get started, everyone,
hmm
can you please like us, follow us, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Instagram?
Specifically, don't follow me, Sarah. Go follow the actual podcast because we need to hit at least 1,000 on all platforms so we can go live there without
Yeah.
me carrying this on my back. No, just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like, why would I? Like, why wouldn't I?
what? But it's true. It's true. It's been almost a year and we need to
Focus.
individuate
Yes,
and focus
individuate
and
and
focus
focus.
and lock in. Okay.
Lock in.
So we've got like what 900 and some odd left to go, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine. That
Just
you
there's
always
just a
start
bunch of
somewhere.
new friends out there that we haven't met yet.
Yeah, and share our things. Put it in your stories.
Share
Tell the
them.
person at the grocery store
Tell the
if
person
you
at the
want.
grocery store
If
or
you,
yeah.
yeah.
If
Anyway,
you
so
enjoy if grocery shopping sparks joy because I
oh,
grocery shopping, Sarah.
oh, okay. Well, like, I don't think that should be the modifier here.
I actually like putting my headphones in at the grocery store so I don't have to talk to anyone there.
Anyway, what are we up to today?
That's a great question, Sarah. I mean, is there anything that you want to talk about on this day? How was your week?
I
Is
was
there,
I was I was gonna try to not come in here hot and angry about
well,
something.
okay.
So
So here's the
unless
thing.
you want me to do it.
It's so funny you say that because as we were getting ready for this episode, I was like, it could be feminine rage 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
Every
Um,
week? What's the new
every
one?
week, every week. But I have been hot on neural pathways,
You have
okay?
been. You
And
have
I want to
been.
talk about them, Sarah.
Yeah, do men
Okay?
have them? Clearly.
They do. They
Only for
do.
evil though. Only for evil.
Yes. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna read this, okay?
Read it. Read
So
it.
that we can ground ourselves in what a neural pathway is. Okay?
Okay.
Because the way that I'm thinking about them in my head is like when you pour water down like a hill and it like starts to make little trenches. That's how I think about it. But they're basically roads in your brain. They're networks of brain cells, neurons, that connect and communicate with each other to send information, everything from thoughts and emotions to habits and physical actions. Every time you think something, feel something, or do something, your brain is sending signals along a specific path. So the more you repeat it, the stronger and faster that pathway becomes, and eventually it becomes your brain's default.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing is that neural pathways and the process of neural pathwaying, or whatever you want to call it, is basically that we are all little computers and we program ourselves every day.
That's one way to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think about it like flowing. I still think about it like flowing, like
Oh,
water
I mean, okay.
flowing, and you need to divert that water if you want to get to a different place, right? It's why we do the same things over and over again. It's why we bring our same behaviors from childhood into adulthood. And what actually made me think about this and be just stewing on it for quite a while is when we were planning Easter and we were trying to figure out how to get everyone together and what we were going to do. And when family comes into town and you're a young adult, you've got a lot of stuff going on the weekend, especially a holiday, right? And we are so programmed in our head to say everyone has to do everything together, whether you like it or not. Because your family is visiting, you have to be sitting in this house and spending time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we all know damn well that we're not doing anything that is necessarily catering towards them or anything in general. We're
No,
just
we
kind
do
of
no
just
activities. We're just gonna
no,
be
we're just
here.
lamping, right? We're just
Yeah.
like literally hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I said to you, like, why? Like, why do your kids have to come to this dinner if they have something that else that they want to do? And you were like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're like,
So you've
you were like,
been,
oh my God, you are
yeah,
so
well,
right.
it's really difficult to
It is.
shift your patterns, especially those kind of patterns. Like, we have the patterns that are like our everyday habits that change over
Hmm.
time, right?
For sure.
But
Yeah.
then we have the things that are ingrained in us since childhood that
Hmm.
are given to us by our families, right? The things that we imprint on when we're really young. It's really funny hearing the things that people never let go of from their childhood, right? Like the things you just believe,
Hmm.
like oh nope, you can't turn that light on in the car while mom is driving because it's illegal. Oh, don't swallow that watermelon seed. It's going to turn into a watermelon in your belly.
No,
Like
don't swim after you eat.
don't swim after you eat because everyone, it turns out adults just are constantly lying to keep you off their dicks.
Constantly.
Basically, they're like, we just need a minute, and you're irritating. We don't want to feed you right now. You're gonna have to wait 45 minutes because otherwise you'll die.
Yeah,
And the kids are
or
like,
because
oh,
one of you got a stomach ache that one time and I'm not dealing with it. So now
not
you
dealing with it.
absolutely have to wait 45 minutes. Or like I have to go inside and clean up the kitchen and I can't watch you in the pool for 45 minutes.
Yes. So there's that. But I think
Yeah.
the thing that's really hopeful about our brains and neural pathways is that we are always programming them. And
Yeah.
it's really like once you start thinking about it that way, it can really unlock a lot of things for you, especially because
Hmm.
but the thing is, we get really comfortable with the things we tell ourselves. And we get
Yeah.
so comfortable with them that they become our identity and in a lot of times our foundation and our crutch. So
Hmm.
something that I talk about a lot, I used to talk about a lot when I was doing like a lot of work online, like with women's circles and things. We would talk a lot about manifesting and
Yep.
shifting. It's manifesting in a way is just shifting your neural pathways.
Hmm.
But you can't just move somebody from a foundation, a fear-based foundation, a victim-based foundation, to a new foundational way of thinking. You can't just shift them over like that because they don't believe it, right?
Right.
And you can't just destroy the way you think and then find a new way. Like you have to start working on where you want to be. And that
Exactly.
comes before the belief, right?
Hmm.
And so if I want to be a person, for example, we'll take the working out, okay? Because
Yeah.
I think that's a funny one. So we've
Yeah.
been talking for like a year now. I've been saying, and Amanda's been saying, like, wow, lifting weights is really good for you. A woman of a certain age should have more muscle. It's really important. I bet we'd feel really great if we did it. And like, I bet we would. And what was not going to do it, right? Was not going to
Mm-mm,
do it.
absolutely not. Could not.
Absolutely not. And you know what? I wasn't even bothering myself about how I wasn't doing it because I already am well acquainted with me. I know how I do things. I
Yes.
literally have a tattoo on my body that says, when I'm ready. So I
Uh,
know, so I knew. So that's the thing. I wasn't being mean about myself. Another time in my life, I would have been very mean and been like, wow, you're so lazy. You have no motivation.
yes.
Like, don't you care about yourself?
Yes.
And I
Ugh,
didn't.
I
I
hate
said,
that.
No, I said, you know what? When the time is right, I'm there. And
Yeah.
what ended up happening is someone mentioned the gym they were going to. My brain latched on and said, yes, actually. And I went. And now I am so into it. It feels so good. My body feels so good. I knew that was going to happen. But the other thing of that is that I kept thinking of myself. I don't know if I talked to you about this. Probably I didn't because it was really in my brain, but it's in my journal. The
Ah,
evidence is there.
okay.
Over the past year, I would just write down the way that I am. I'm a person who loves like lifting weights. My body is like really strong. I have good
Mm-hmm.
muscles. Like I would just keep writing that. I'm like, yeah, I'm a person who does that. Like da 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 da, right? I would just
Yeah.
write it down. Like every other day, whenever I would think about it, like, oh yeah, that's part of who I am, part of who I am. And so I already was starting
You
to
got yourself
tease.
halfway there.
I was starting to tease the neural pathways
Yes.
into existence.
Mm-hmm.
So that when I actually did the action, it wasn't really that shocking. It was just like, oh, that's a path we've been working on. Now we're walking on it.
Yes. It's called neuroplasticity, by the way.
Beautiful. And I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Yes.
that. It doesn't work the same for everybody. You have to figure out how your
No.
brain works, right?
No, you do. You do, right? And you have to kind of be like kind to yourself
You
while you're
have to,
doing
first
it.
of all, be kind to yourself.
Because
Yes.
I'm the same way as you when it comes to like I know that I can do something and I can do it really, really well, but
Yeah.
I will only do it when I am ready. And what gets me there is a lot of stewing on it, I guess, thinking about
Rumi-
every single angle. And then one day being
rumination.
like, why is it even that big of a deal? Right?
Let's just
And
do
a
it.
lot of it, you mentioned this with manifestation is all about a shift, right? Because it's not necessarily changing your whole life. Like you just need to change the way that you look and think about one aspect of it, right? Like you just
Correct.
have a little bit at a time. And I think that the big leap is what makes people so scared about doing things
Correct.
differently. And I also
Correct.
think that there's a generation that has never heard of neuroplasticity and has very, very deep, deep neural pathways, Sarah.
They
They are
do.
the
They
trenches,
do.
and it's 3 miles uphill to school both ways in the snow year round.
Yeah. Yeah, but and I'm not being a boomer apologist right now, but I will say that part of if you're feeling a calling to even look into neural pathways and neuroplasticity and manifesting and shifting the way that your mind works, that tells me that in your line, you're that person that's kind of coming through and saying, we're going to kind of stop this pattern because patterns become so deep within you because they
Hmm.
are generational patterns. And
Yes.
having the awareness to be able to reflect on that is healing, not only for you, but for your whole generation. Because we don't really have
Yes.
time to get into this one today, but I think
No.
everybody should look at, there's well, I'll link it at some point. But basically, time is not linear. And there is now scientific evidence that proves that what you do in the present can directly affect and change the past as well. Yes, look at my sister's face. She's like, "What then?" Yeah, and because the power of your mind is that strong, and there's actual scientific evidence out there that before you observe something, it doesn't exist in the same way it existed before you observed it.
Mm, that's
Okay?
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It we in a lot of ways, it's very I don't know. It's pretty amazing and it's very biblical in a way. If you look at the Bible as more of an allegory than something specific, because we are little gods looking at things and allowing them to be. And what meaning we give something tells our body what it means to us. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says, right? Like if
Right.
if you look at something and you're like, I hate that, your body is like, we hate
We
that.
hate that.
We hate that. And then let's take it further. Other
Yes.
people should hate it with me.
Yes.
Hate it
Oh gosh.
too.
Just earlier in this episode, I said I hate that. And as soon as I said it, I was like, what is it? I don't, that's why my 4-year-old is saying, I hate that. And I'm like, who says that? It has to be me. We
Well,
should never
he
say
is
that.
a little repetition sponge, but I will
Yeah.
say, like, when people say I hate something, that has been something that I will, like, I'm not a big corrector. Like, I don't jump in and correct people when they're speaking because I just, like, who cares? But
Mm-hmm.
if someone close to me consistently says I hate something, I will pause with them and say, like, I want to talk about this, because
Yeah.
when you say you hate something, that is such a strong, strong spell of energy.
So this
And
is good because you haven't given me an intervention on me saying I hate things. So
no,
maybe it's not as bad.
you don't say it a lot, honestly. But it means something. Like when you
It
hate
does.
something, the more you say you hate something, the more you desensitize yourself to what that actually means, and also
Hmm.
use your words. Like, do you actually
Use your
mean you
words.
hate this, or are
Hmm.
you afraid of this? Is this unknown to you? Is something about this triggering? Like,
Hmm.
find the nuance and break it down, because if you say you hate something, that's like saying you're madly in love with it, because it's the
Right.
same vibration of energy just going in a different direction. So I'm careful about my hate, right? Because
Hmm. It's
something
nuanced. You
it's
hate with
very
nuance.
yes, and I don't even like hate is just too much. Like if I'm going to
Too
say
much, yeah.
if you hear me say I hate something, I'm like there's a big thing happening here. Like, and I would
Mm.
even say it's difficult as you become more evolved in your thought processes to hate anything,
Yeah.
because you don't want to waste that energy on
Well,
it.
it's just what you said. It's like think about what you're saying and use your words. What is it that you are feeling?
What is it that you're feeling? And
Right.
the other part I wanted to bring up, you had said something. Oh, what did you say? Well, I'll just tell the story, because I was talking to somebody in therapy recently, and we got on the concept of healing. And I find that in a lot of the way that our self-help culture is very, very capitalistic, which means that it has to keep feeding itself, right? So you can't really ever be done healing, because then you wouldn't buy more books about healing, right? So you always have to be
Mm-hmm.
working on yourself. But there's this concept that, oh, my past was so bad, my mom really messed me up, this happened, that happened. I have to now spend a lot of time and destroy all of the things that I was thinking and the way that I was, so that I can be better now.
Sure.
And I would like to say a very emphatic absolutely not to that, because that to me is incredibly selfish and self-serving, and will
Mm-hmm.
keep you in this loop of feeling very virtuous while not being in the present and not doing anything to actually
Right.
live a life that feels good. It's kind of a crutch. It's like saying, well, I can't start being kind to you until I figure out the root of why I'm unkind to you. And it links to my
Mm-hmm.
mother and her mother and that thing and that thing. Who cares, guys? Like,
Right.
you have endless time to ruminate on that, like once you like figure out what's going on now, because
Mm-hmm.
again, back to that energetic experiment, the only thing you have control over is the present moment. And if the present
Right.
moment can dictate the future and can rewire the past, why are you jumping into the past in order to change the foundation of the future? Right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in those situations, where do you want to go? How do you want to feel? And how would that person act?
Right, right. What would the hottest version of yourself do,
Yeah.
basically? But
Yeah.
I think it's important too, as a part of your healing, to be able to look back and see something that connects with why you view the world that the way that you do, and realizing that then also can give you the power to just look at it a little bit differently.
We
You can
visit, we
acknowledge the
don't
fact that you
stay.
are, yes, you can acknowledge the fact that something in your childhood has had an impact on your life today. But now that you know that and you've acknowledged that, you can realize that you don't need to have that impact anymore. You don't need to carry that forward with you anymore. You can do whatever you want. I mean, every time, this is going to sound obnoxious, but it's just like anytime you leave your house and you go and interact with other people, it's like you are choosing your experience. Don't blame anything on anyone else and whatever they're doing, as they are the main character in their story going around you. right? Like if you want to have a good day, you're going to have one. That's why we try to say today's going to be an amazing day
Oh my God.
around here.
Well, I think the other part of this is again the crutch of kind of layering and entrenching your identity in the past,
Yes.
in past
Yes.
traumas, right? And
Yes.
that idea of being the victim of circumstances,
And we were
right?
literally telling you that you can rewire your brain,
Yes. Well, you are the only one who can actually.
right? You have
So
the, yes, you are.
yes, it's only you. And the other part of this is though, how much comfort are you actually getting from the story of victimhood? Because when you look at that
Yeah.
honestly, you might actually be getting a lot of comfort for it. And that's okay. Like it again, you can't push a person into that space. They have to walk into that themselves. But it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like if you keep having similar experiences over and over and over and over and over again, are you saying you like that experience? Are you saying it is what's happening to you because you of bad luck, because of the past? Like, what is the story that you're telling yourself?
Right.
Because that story is not independent of you. Like, you are involved in that too. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that shitty things don't happen to people because they do all the time. And I'm not saying to gaslight yourself into saying a horrible thing that happened to you is actually beneficial at all. But I am
Right.
saying, do you want to live in that space for the rest of your life? Or do you want to
Right.
be
Is
in
it
this?
serving you?
Is it serving you? But what do you want? Because if that's what you do want, if like your identity is entrenched in a trauma that has happened to you and that is now coloring every single interaction you have, and you don't know why that you keep having more of these interactions,
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing to look at, right? And once you
Right.
kind of like dig yourself out of that loop of, kind of self-serving pity parties that happen over and over and over again, that's when the real change happens. But that
Mm-hmm.
only happens for people when it happens. It's kind of like a aha eureka moment. You can't plan it. It happens for different people at different times.
It'll happen to you on a Tuesday.
And a Tuesday,
Just on a
who
Tuesday,
knows?
you'll be like, "Oh my God."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it. And the other thing, have we talked here about the whole like the driving analogy of being in the past, in the future, and all that kind of stuff?
I don't think so. Doesn't sound
Okay,
familiar to me.
okay. So think of think of driving in a car. Okay,
I'm thinking of Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage right now
don't
driving
no
in a
no
car.
that's the wrong
Wrong
one.
car? Wrong
Wrong
car?
car.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
car is just you in there. You're sitting in the driver's seat.
Okay.
Okay. So you're sitting in a neutral, spine relaxed position, okay? Just like this, rooted in your hips. This is the present moment. Anxiety, feel anxiety for a moment. Where does your body go?
My chest.
Well, which direction do you want to go?
Oh, am I leaning forward?
Yeah. Anxiety leans you forward. Okay. So now you're hunched over the wheel and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, ooh, what's coming? What's coming? What's coming? What's coming? What's coming? All right. Now come
Mm-hmm.
back to the present. Now we're back and rooted. This is present moment. We can see around us. We can move our heads, like turn the wheel. We're good. Now a depressive energy comes and we're leaning back into the past.
Mm.
Okay. So from here, we're just kind of like stuck in this space, right? We're kind of stuck in this space and it's like, all right, I can kind of see, but like, oh God, it's hard to sit up. Like, can't really see over the dash, right? So those are all like things you can actually feel in your body. If you're feeling anxious, remind yourself you're leaning forward. And a lot of people, when they are anxious, they are actually leaning forward. So
Yeah.
come back to the present, right? Because the only place that you can drive most effectively is in the present moment. Nice relaxed spine, seated, right? You can look around you, you can, you have full range of motion from that spot. It's okay to lean back for a moment. It's okay to lean forward for a moment. But if you constantly stay in one of those positions, you're not going to be able to effectively command your life. You're not going to be able to drive effectively. And
No.
so when you think about just kind of like being in those spaces, in the present moment is where you make the magic. This is where the wand is, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's where you want to be as much as you can. And you can always go forward. You can always go back, but you can't affect change from either of those positions. So if you're feeling like, "Oh my God, I'm stuck, like nothing I do is effective. Everything I do is like not changing my experience." Check to see the position you're driving from. Is it
Yeah.
from the past or is it locked in an anxiety future situation. And it's helpful.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is when we started this, I had my eyes closed. So I was driving the car with perfect posture and my eyes.
Well, you have to find a way that works for you, Amanda.
I was like, you know what? Let me actually let Sarah drive this because where she's going, I'm like,
Well, you're visualizing.
I am. I was like, okay, I'm in the car. My eyes are closed. And you're like,
Hmm.
and now look at me. And I'm like, wait, anxiety? My anxiety is coming from the fact that I've been driving the car with my eyes closed. Where am
She's
I?
like, this doesn't feel safe at all.
Oh, wow. That was a journey. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking me along
Sure,
that
sure. Sure, sure. But this is
visualization.
also this is a good somatic exercise to do when you are experiencing anxiety or like a depressive energy because you can actually like lean back, lean forward, come back to center. Just like get yourself back into that
I
space.
notice it at work when I'm sitting because like you have a desk job and all of a sudden I'm like this, my shoulders are up. I'm like, what am I doing?
Ooh, we need
What am I
to reel it
doing?
back in.
Okay. Like it's not
Yeah.
that heavy.
Yeah. I mean,
Open your eyes while you're driving the car, Amanda.
you know, and I will say, even though we didn't rage about it today, but like the world we're currently living in is like a lot. And it's very a lot all the time, yada yada yada. And I think that the more I consider how to not lose my shit on a daily basis, I feel like I'm doing an actual great job of that. And the reason is because at this point I'm so rooted in myself
Mm-hmm.
that the things around me are not going into me the same way that they used to because I know that I'm dictating a reality around me. There's no point in giving the power for my reality to be completely affected by any of those things externally at
Yeah.
this point because I can't actually help those things from that position. That would
Yep.
be a position that I cannot affect change, right?
Yep.
And what are the small things? And I will just say, what are the small things we are all doing every single day to hold men accountable for their actions? What are the small things we're doing? And what are the small things we're doing every day to protect the feelings of men without realizing it? And how do we shift those things? Because part of the conversation has to be that now. We have to look at the ways that any ways that we are complicit in allowing that and look out for each other as well. And I see
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us stepping into those spaces. And it's not
Yep.
about stepping forward in anger because that's
Mm-mm.
also not a place of power. Anger is not power.
No.
It's just not. But holding people accountable for the things that they do is something that women have been trained not to do. We do it so instinctively to prevent anyone from feeling the consequences of their own actions is like
Yeah.
should be a t-shirt we all have, right? And when you start learning to do that, it's scary because when you start letting people experience the consequences of their own behavior, it affects your life too. Because in a lot of ways, your life may be deeply entrenched with them succeeding, right? Or them
Sure.
being in a good mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things, like where are you doing those things, right? And are you
Yeah.
coming from a place of groundedness and how are you holding people accountable? Because
Mm-hmm.
we have got to do that. We have got to do that. It's a small part, but the small things can move the biggest pieces. So,
Exactly. Small things stack up. And
yes,
it's
because
those
we
little
really
changes.
we're not in a place of power when we're spinning out and just being like, "Oh my
No.
God, oh my God, oh my
Oh
God,
my
oh my
God. Oh my.
God."
But we
And
do our fair share of that. Everyone
yes,
should
you need
crash
to have
out.
your oh my God
Crash
crash out
out.
moment and then you got
Do
to
it.
pull it together and say, "All right, what action can I feasibly take today to do my part in dismantling the patriarchy?" Right?
Yeah.
Well, just chip away, girls, chip away because a lot of this is working beautifully, I have to say. And the reason
Yeah.
you know that is because of the extinction burst that we are experiencing all around us in men. Men are losing their minds because we are no longer giving them the attention that they don't deserve right? They're like, oh no, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? We have to actually have personalities and treat you like a person in order to date you? That's so crazy. My mom didn't have to do that to my dad.
Sarah found her people on Threads, by the
Oh
way.
my God.
The women are in Threads, okay? And when they
Hmm.
wake up in the morning, let me tell you,
They get me going. I'll tell you
there
what.
there will be things that come up in my feed in Threads that I'm like, whoa, whoa. And then I'm like, hold on a second. And there's 60,000 comments, and they're just all women just tearing this
Tearing it
stupid,
apart.
just like, why'd you put that on the internet? And they're gonna make you regret it.
Yes. And
Right?
obviously there's a lot of people trolling on the internet just to get engagement. So they say rage
Sure,
bait things, but I don't even
sure.
care if they say rage bait things because you know what the rage bait does? In the comments, you find how many people actually are aligned with how you think about the world and it really makes
Yes.
you
You're like,
happy. It's
okay,
like,
whew,
oh, okay. Just get
we took it.
you got this, girls. I
You
see.
got
I
this.
see.
We got this.
Carry
You're
on.
like, all
Carry on.
right.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
it's a really important thing to recognize that that is happening, like
Yeah.
that change is happening. So,
Yes.
keep on going
Mm-hmm.
and feel your rage, feel your anger, but don't let it burn up all the goodness inside of you. Transmute that into some sort of daily small action that can chip
Mm-hmm.
away at the actual issue. And every time you lift another woman up, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
time you lift yourself up, every time you hold a man accountable, every time some dumb man says something stupid to you in a bar and you just look at him and say, I'm curious as to why you felt you needed to say that to me. Can you explain?
Huh, huh, huh.
Yep, exactly. It is if there's any like gift I can give you, it is to ask a question like that. Just say, I'm curious as to what you mean by that. Just say, I'm
Yeah.
curious if you could explain a little bit more what you mean by that.
So
That
many
will
people
change your
say
life.
stupid things and get away with it because
Get away
nobody
with it.
questions them. Be the one to question them.
Be the one to
Say,
and question
actually,
kindly.
if it was just a joke, then why isn't it funny?
Yeah, just ask a question, send it right back.
Yeah. And they're
Send
like,
it back.
rat
Say,
girls.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And just be sweet and give the best little smile and watch them absolutely implode in front of you and show that they're an NPC and they need to leave the game. Goodbye. Right?
Watch
Okay.
them walk into the corner and
And
glitch.
spin.
All right. Well,
Well,
listen,
time to go.
like Smokey the Bear, only you have the power to change your own brain. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to leave you with that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go now and do the things. I love you, sis.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to I'm Your Mother Now podcast, an Amala Moon production. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if I've done the RSS feed properly, wherever you get your pods. You can follow us on Instagram at IYMN_podcast to watch us live on Friday mornings and catch the full episodes on our YouTube channel, I'm Your Mother Now podcast. We'd love if you could share this with a friend who'd vibe with the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more people to find us. We'll see you next week. Bye.